Here's your shot at winning $1,000. Text the national keyword SHOP right now to 95819. That's SHOP to 95819. We'll text you back to confirm your entry. Data and messaging rates may apply. Please don't text and drive. It's 5K a day on WMAL. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:07 on this Thursday morning. Thanks for tuning in to O'Connor and Company and getting your day started the right way. Coming up in 30 minutes, Jonathan Fahey. Now, he's a former acting ICE director. We're going to talk about how the Democrats are launching this ICE tracker that will endanger the lives of federal law enforcement officers. Also at 8:05, KT McFarland will join us about all things foreign policy. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Cassie Smedile, who acts like she's amused by my Henry Kissinger impersonation. Good morning, Cassie.
Good morning, Larry. It's getting better from when you first tried it at 5 a.m. It's getting better. Coffee has kicked in.
Coffee, and I've actually smoked 3 cigars already this morning. Don't tell the boss. No smoking in the studio. Joining us right now, friend. Oh, no mercy. I was about to say we've got Mercedes Schlapp, and Michael let me know no mercy, which makes me sound like we're like engaged in some sort of cage match. No mercy. Mercedes Schlapp, of course, friend of this program, conservative commentator extraordinaire and veteran of the first Trump White House and the Bush White House. She, along with her husband, Matt, coordinate all things CPAC, and they have an event this weekend for CPAC Latino, which means cue the Miami sound machine. Here she comes, Mercedes. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I miss you all so much.
Well, tell us all about the big event you've got going on. This is CPAC Latino, and you're trying to get out that vote for the Republican ticket.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, the CPAC, first of all, the Latino voter is critical in Virginia. That represents about 5 to 7% of the vote. And, these races are going to be close. And this Virginia race in particular is heating up. I think you're starting to see Winsome Sears close the margins against the radical Abigail Spanberger. There's no other way to call this woman. She can't even decipher what is a man or a woman. I mean, we're still having these debates even today. And you're seeing Jason Miyares just, obviously just dominate on the polls, which I think is spectacular to watch against Jay Jones, who really should have resigned. And I don't know how he has not, how he's just not pulled out of this race completely. So, we had a lot of Hispanics come to us in Virginia, and they're like, we want to get together. We want to do something. So we've organized under CPAC, gotten all these grassroots activists together, and we have the whole GOP Virginia ticket, Winsome Sears, John Reed, Jason Miyares, and yes, Governor Glenn Youngkin will be joining us at this event, at this rally. But, we're going to talk about issues, because the issues is what's going to win this thing, right? It's going to be about faith and family and protecting our freedoms and protecting our families, and really how we cannot cave to this radical woke agenda that's really now very much a mark of the Democrat Party.
Cassie, before I let you in here, I want to give the details. It's this Saturday. It's 2 p.m. It's in Sterling, Virginia at Ministerio Internacional Mañana del Cielo. Did I do that right?
Very good. You did so
Thank
good.
you very much.
Yes.
It's at Ridgetop Circle. And I got to, Cassie, I don't think there has been a political event with the entire ticket and Governor Youngkin. That's a real coup.
Yes, that's huge, Mercy. Hats off to you guys for getting that together, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I think this is the first time the whole band is together.
Yeah.
And Governor Youngkin's still very popular. I think he needs to be out there on the campaign trail. I've heard from all the teams that that's absolutely happening, and that'll be key, I think, to getting turnout. But to this issue, and thank you for doing this, because so often, and we talk about this all the time with illegal immigration and ICE roundups and all of this stuff, but Latino Americans are so pro-family values. They're so anti-woke. They're for the rule of law. Talk about this, as you do so well, about they don't want America to turn into the countries they fled. They don't want Virginia.
They're conservative.
Conservative, yes. Can speak more about this.
What a concept.
Putting it all together, right?
No, you're right. And look, this is where President Trump in the presidential election, he was able to sway the Hispanic vote in his direction and really had historic numbers, especially when it came to Hispanic men. And so I think that there is a sense of the Hispanics waking up. You know, they're traditionally, you can say, obviously in certain parts of the country, like California, where they lean and vote Democrat. Well, the Hispanic voter today is literally that swing voter, okay? It is the one that is not necessarily tied to a party. They're trying to figure out, okay, where do I fit in terms of my values? And yes, for the Hispanic voter, it is about the family, okay, la familia. It is about their children. It is about protecting their children. And when you have the craziness that we have seen in places like Fairfax County, places like Loudoun County, where it has become a battle of the sexes, of allowing biological boys into the locker room, where you're having, basically school faculty and administration getting involved and promoting abortions to teenage girls, and one of the girls being Hispanic. That's an outrage to the family. I'm sorry. If you have your boy and you send him off to school and he comes back and he says you know what, I'm a girl, Dad, I got to change. That is just like the Hispanics just lose their minds. And so, I mean, anyone would lose their minds, quite frankly. But,
Yes.
This is where they've had it, and they don't want the government telling them what to do. What they want is economic, like all Americans, economic opportunities. How do we bring down this high cost of living, which is actually, I think, impacts all of us in this country right now?
Yeah.
And how can I have my kids have even greater opportunities than I did? They don't want government in their way. That is definitely another piece of this as well.
Speaking to a friend of this program in particular, Mercedes Schlapp, and Mercy, I mean, listen, you weekly we would talk about this race as it was forming back in the early part of the year, January, February, March, April. Boy, oh boy, has this Republican ticket come a long way from those early polls in the springtime. It appears to be neck and neck, very similar to 4 years ago with the Youngkin ticket. Give us your analysis here. I know you're doing the big event on Saturday. Momentum seems to be with the Republicans. Is it enough?
Can I tell you, this is what drives me crazy. This is when everyone there's a sense of like, we just got to give up on Virginia. It really is. And we've seen this before. You both know this very clearly. And even some of when you're looking at the fact that they're not even investing enough money into the Republican race, just think about it. The Democrats, they're outspending the Republicans easily 3-1 in this race. They think they have it in the bag. And, when we were having this discussion, it's like, why are we going to give up on this race? Like, we shouldn't. Virginia, look, Trump lost Virginia in 2024 by 6 points. Okay? At any political mind, you can work hard to try to make sure that we get to that finish line and that she and Winston Sears can win. You're obviously seeing the effects with Jason Miyares, where he's been able, I think, to help this Republican ticket because Jay Jones is literally, I believe, should be in jail. And so I think that there is this opportunity. There's this window. And the more that Abigail Spanberger basically creates her own word salad when she cannot explain what we need to do with biological males in girls' bathrooms, parents get queasy. They don't like it. And so this, I believe, is the opening. It's the opportunity. And I do think the Latino vote is critical to energize them, to get motivated, to say, listen, Winston Sears stands for you. She stands for the parents. She will protect your rights. And we'll continue on the right track in Virginia and continue the wins that we've seen with Governor Glenn Youngkin, where I think he's had very strong leadership.
Yeah, you're right. And you're so right about Abigail Spanberger's word salad. It's gotten so bad.
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
she gives an answer to a question, and Kamala Harris says, oh, girl, you get some Thousand Island dressing on that. That is bad stuff there.
Yeah.
All right, Saturday, 2 p.m. in Sterling, Ministerio Internacional Maña del Cielo. Is there a website people can just go to? And because I screwed it up.
Listen, whether you're Hispanic or not Hispanic, go. Obviously, Hispanic women make great wives. So if you're looking for a wife, maybe go to the event.
Wait a second. This has suddenly become a dating app. There's going to be some hookup out there. This isn't good.
Can I tell you how many marriages have come out of CPAC? Let's be real, Larry. Come on. We've seen it. We've seen literally like they've proposed on a CPAC stage. So you know what? Right. I'm all about like bring the love. amor.
All right,
It's
let's get
great.
Matt Foley out there. We got to marry that man off. Get him a good Latino
I've been trying.
woman.
I've been
All
trying.
right,
I've been trying.
go to the CPAC website. It'll get the organization. But this may be your last chance to see the entire ticket and Governor Youngkin all on stage, because they're going to be blanketing the state between now and Election Day.
Ooh.
Get out there, and Matt and Mercy will be there. So that's something.
With
too. Thank you,
salsa
Mercy.
music. I was trying to drag Larry to come with me. Come on, Larry.
I can't.
Come on. The governor, you're the ambassador in Virginia for wine. How can I not have you?
I have 3 other commitments that day,
I'll
and it's the
after.
day before
I'll
the
call
Marine
you
Corps
after.
marathon. I can't overdo. I'm
Blah,
running
blah.
the marathon on
Run
Sunday.
to Virginia. You'll run to Virginia from Annapolis. It's perfect. There you go.
Mercy. Then thank you
All
for
right, take care of you
publicly
too. Good
shaming me to go to this event. It's 7:17.
Un abrazo. Bye-bye.
I will try. She guilts me better than any other woman, more than my mother.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939. Your next $1,000 could be one text away. It's $5K a day on WMAL.
Did you hear that explosion down in the South Caribbean, Cassie? It was another boat full of narco-terrorists getting blasted out of the sea. I don't know why they keep sending them. I mean, this is what's going to happen. And, of course, somehow, as Trump utilizes our military to protect our borders, protect our allies, and go after terrorists, narco-terrorists in the Eastern Pacific, somehow, once again, he gets the political left in this country and the media to take the side of the bad guys. He's got an uncanny knack for this.
It's too good. It's like, what is it? Every time a narco-terrorist boat is blown up, a Democrat gets its Trump derangement syndrome wings. What is the metaphor there? But it's so, first of all, I love it. But I think you make a good point. Why do they keep sending them through this route? Are these the guys that they're trying to get rid of? Are these the guys that have done wrong by the cartels? At this point, it's not a good plan.
Hey, hombre, we got a job for you. Oh, no. Here we go. Yeah, Cory Booker got very upset about this. He had yet another Spartacus moment, screaming to an empty Senate chamber, as is often the case. Take a listen, cut 11.
When we took the extrajudicial step to blow up speedboats, there has been no oversight into that claimed attack on people that were allegedly smuggling drugs. We are constantly not doing our job, which is not a partisan one. It is to hold this president in check, that no one operates without accountability and without transparency, because power is corrupting. And when you let someone do what they want to do, when they want to do it, without a check or a balance, it is corrupting. And
You could just see Spartacus's eyes bulging as he does this. So Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, he's got many jobs, as you know, Cassie Smedile. He's a man of many hats. But he happens to be the first Latin American Secretary of State. His parents were refugees from Fidel Castro's Cuba. He knows Latin America very well. He is probably the singularly most engaged Secretary of State south of our borders that you will ever see. He cares passionately about this. He was in the Oval yesterday as President Trump was doing a press opportunity with the General Secretary of NATO. And he was asked by a reporter about the criticism of the attacks on narco-terrorists coming from Venezuela. Let's hear the Secretary of State respond perfectly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the question is, bottom line, these are drug boats. If people want to stop seeing drug boats blow up, stop sending drugs to the United States. Well, these are all in international waters. The boat.
Do a strike in the United States, or if
well, that's a different matter. Now you're talking about a law enforcement matter. In this particular case, there are people traveling on international waters headed towards the United States with hostilities in mind, which includes flooding our country with dangerous, deadly drugs. And they're going to be stopped. And that's what's happening. And in the case last week, you saw there was a submarine. It was a submarine. It was a submersible. That's a drug boat all the way through. We know what these boats are. The president just said it. We track them from the very beginning. We know who's on them, who they are, where they're coming from, what they have on them. If you're running drug boats, you're in grave danger.
I mean, it's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, what more needs to be said? And then again, you can hear the pushback from the room, the antagonistic press that's like,
Yes.
but. And I think about this, Cory Booker, who just drives me nuts when he goes on these tirades, which are just to get fundraising. I don't know who's still donating to him, but we know that's all it's for. I wish he would be that outspoken and that upset when you hear from the moms who lost their 15-year-old son. I remember there was a woman who spoke at the GOP convention last summer, and it was so gripping that she just talked of her son, and it wasn't like, oh, he was this drug-addled kid. It was one pill can kill situation.
That's right.
And that's the effect of all of this. That's the impact. Whole towns are losing families because of this. And you've got Cory Booker defending the drug trafficker, defending the cartel, questioning anybody who's trying to stop this.
But that's what they do. That's what I mean. Please, they voted against the Lincoln Riley Act. They're trying to protect murderers. And that Trump has a way of getting his political opponents to embrace the worst possible political position and people just because they hate Trump. It's an amazing thing to see. It's 7:24. Coming up, Democrats have a new website that will help people target ICE officers. Are you kidding me? Jonathan Fahey, former acting ICE director, joins us next.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It is now 7:37. Thanks for tuning in here to O'Connor and Company, a busy Thursday morning as the government continues to be in shutdown mode. We know how it's going to end. Democrats know how it's going to end. They just need to figure out what their narrative is going to be to explain how they caved, how they blinked. It's fine. We'll get there. It's Larry O'Connor. Oh, KT McFarland joins us at 8:05. KT McFarland at 8:05. Larry O'Connor here and Cassie Smedile with us this morning. Good morning, Cassie.
Good
Cassie,
morning, Larry.
Why am I calling you Casey?
KT,
You know what?
Casey. It's okay.
My brain is mush
Answer
right
to it
now.
all.
It happens. Joining us right now, Jonathan Fahey, former federal prosecutor, former acting ICE director. He's the Iceman. All due respect to Val Kilmer. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Fahey.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yesterday, Congressman Garcia, alongside Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles, made a curious announcement to the press. Here's cut 14. Listen.
I shared this with the mayor. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee will be launching on their website a master ICE tracker where we're going to be essentially tracking every single instance that we can verify that the community will be able to send us information on.
Now, this is like, by the way, it's not the Oversight Committee. It's the Democrats on the Oversight Committee. Let's get that clear. So he's already lying to you. But it seems to me there's two aspects of this ICE tracker that the Democrats are using tax dollars for to launch to send out to the public. Number one, it'll tell criminals when cops are around so they can avoid arrest. That's aiding and abetting a criminal. But also, if you were a lunatic and you wanted to do harm to ICE agents, you could use this ICE tracker website that the Democrats are paying for to find ICE agents while they're conducting their lawful duty and inflict harm on them. This is insanity.
It's really, you always want to know, like, is there a bottom, like a new low for this stuff? And, I think, I want to hope we're there now, but it's like just, what was it, 3 weeks ago, the murders at the ICE facility with somebody using the ICE tracking app, and the Democrats' response to something like that is like, let's have our own tracking device. It's insane to me. And, the funny thing about it is, the Democrats, it's really, they are so openly open borders and hostile to law enforcement. And it's just so shocking to me after the last election that, every election you adjust, and they went harder left on this immigration issue. And it's very, it's surprising, it's dangerous, but it just shows a new low. They also just have no agenda, but it's putting agents in danger. But you're right, when you're talking about aiding and abetting, the other thing that really does, it's essentially, there's a statute called alien harboring, which is doing anything to shield illegal aliens from ICE detection, and this sort of falls in that category as well. But everything they do puts law enforcement in danger, the community in danger, and they always put illegal aliens ahead of American citizens every single time. It's really shameful.
It's shameful, and we should be shocked by this point. You talk about the new low. I mean, and then they reach they go even lower, despite that they lost the elections, largely because people disagreed with their position on immigration. But we talk about these ICE agents, and you hear about the bounties over their head, tens of thousands of dollars. And you know these men and women. For me, I'm thinking, okay, first of all, how is this impacting recruitment? But also their mental health to be able to wake up and get out and do the job again. I commend them for that. But what do you think is even the impact on having the agents to be able to enforce our laws, which of course is what they're doing?
Yeah, I think sort of your first point, the amazing thing about, and I talk to people at ICE all the time, their morale is sky high because they know how important their mission is. Right. But they also, it's so shameful that we have politicians that are willingly putting them in more danger when they're already, like you said, facing bounties from drug cartels. And also when they're arresting violent criminals, every single one of those could turn deadly, and they know that every single day. So it's amazing to me that their morale is high, and recruiting is still sky high as well. But it's like you would have never seen this 20 years ago in America, that one political party is openly hostile to law enforcement. And, something really bad is going to happen because somebody is listening to the rhetoric. We talked about Charlie Kirk so many times, but it's like these types of things, it really does matter. And people sadly look to some of these Democratic politicians as their leaders, which is also sad, but it's like they do. And these people really should watch what they say and, dial it back a little bit. If they want open borders, they should have passed an open borders law, but they know they don't have the support for it, so they go about it in this cynical way that puts people in danger.
Great point. That's the thing. These ICE agents, their sin is enforcing the laws that Congress passed, and they're in Congress. If they don't like it, change the law. We're speaking with Jonathan Fahey, former acting ICE director. There's also a ruling from a federal court in Chicago that now says, based on a 2022 settlement that Merrick Garland, DHS, Joe Biden entered into with an activist group over deportations, that if ICE conducts their lawful constitutional authority in Chicago based on this settlement, this judge says that ICE agents can be arrested. Have you taken a look at this? Will there be a stay on this? How did this even happen?
Well, it's funny, yeah. Like you said, this was what's called like a consent decree that the DHS and Garland of DOJ entered into with these leftist groups during the Biden administration, and now the Trump administration is bound by this. And of course, we know the Biden administration wanted to stop enforcement, so they were more than happy to do so. But I think the problem with this judge that this judge will have, if they do try to hold, the only way a judge can put somebody in jail is holding them in contempt. But when you hold someone in contempt, it gets referred to DOJ to prosecute them, and then ultimately they can decide, well, we're not going to prosecute the case. So ultimately, can this judge put ICE agents in jail? Probably not. Or if he does, the administration has other vehicles, also pardon powers and things like that. But it does just show you everywhere they go, back sort of the initial point, these ICE agents are fighting against everyone. When you have judges that want to jail you, and it's not just this judge, it's like throughout the country, everyone is looking to harm these agents, to put them in a worse position. And it's just really shameful because they are allowed to arrest people. They don't need warrants to arrest people, just like a cop does not need a warrant to arrest you. They can have one, but they don't have to if they have probable cause. And, all of these things are designed to stop immigration enforcement. There's nothing else beyond that.
As Chris Plant often reminds us, they're just not on our side, these people. They're actually putting law enforcement in danger. It's outrageous. It'll get stopped. We just have to go through the process. Jonathan Fahey, former acting ICE director, appreciate you as always. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We've got an update on the Jay Jones situation in Virginia. Now a special prosecutor is getting involved. We'll give you the details in a moment. It's 7:44.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
We've got an update now on the Virginia election. Obviously, the story of Jay Jones has dominated the news. Abigail Spanberger doing her best to try to run from this story, but she just can't do it. We played the audio yesterday of the interview she did, a podcast with Katie Couric, where we realized, Cassie, who the real victim in all of this is. Not Todd Gilbert, who, his colleague threatened to put 2 bullets in his head in his murder fantasy text messages to another Republican. Not his wife, who Jay Jones fantasized about cradling their bloodied dead children's corpses in their arms. By the way, also he could advance his political agenda. He said police officers need to start dying so that Jay Jones's political agenda would be more popular and he'd be able to have his way. That's what Jay Jones was talking about. But no, they're not the victims. The real victim is Abigail Spanberger, because she has to answer questions about it, Cassie. That's
poor Abigail.
Yes.
I was also thinking about, wasn't it that Jay Jones, and we'll get back to this with Abigail Spanberger 1 second, but wasn't Jay Jones upset with Todd Gilbert because he was being too bipartisan?
Yes, he was saying nice words in a eulogy about a dead Democrat delegate. Yeah.
That was
at his funeral.
Big offending moment. So I think that's important to note, too, that it's not like Todd Gilbert did something crazy and horrible that in any way would make someone upset, let alone have the, wish death on them and their family. But yes, I'm so sorry that Abigail Spanberger has had to deal with this.
Well,
that's so tough for her.
Things did not get better last night for Abigail Spanberger in that regard. She's going to have more questions to answer about Jay Jones because a special prosecutor has now been appointed to investigate Jay Jones's attempt to scheme his way out of his reckless driving charge. You'll remember that he was going over 115 miles an hour on a highway in Virginia. That would normally get a suspended license, possibly some days in jail, a real punishment. Most normal people who aren't, the elite like Jay Jones, they would actually suffer real repercussions. But Jay Jones, he was the only one that entire month who was arrested for reckless driving and going that far over the speed limit. In fact, I don't even know if he was arrested. Forgive me for using that word. He was the only one that month who was pulled over with that kind of offense who got a slap on the wrist, 1,000 hours of community service. But, of course, as any listener of this program knows, that he didn't do 1,000 hours of court-ordered community service. At best, he may have done 500 to serve his own political action committee. And there's now questions as to whether the other 500 hours that he claims he did pro bono for NAACP legal work, that he actually got paid for that, or his firm got paid for that pro bono work. So now there's a special prosecutor who has been assigned down in Kent County. A circuit court judge signed off on the motion to appoint the special prosecutor. This is major. Right here in the final days of the campaign. Jason Miyares, the Attorney General, he spoke to this on WJLA yesterday. Here's cut 15. Take a listen.
I'm just shocked to see that a special prosecutor has been appointed to conduct a criminal investigation. It just shows that there's this cloud over Jay Jones. And it also shows just how reckless he has been, that he has misled the court, that there were 4 people in court that day that were roughly going the same speed, 116 miles an hour. And 3 of those 4 people got either active or suspended jail sentence. The only one that did not get their driver's license suspended or even get suspended jail time was Jay Jones. And
and he's right. He's laying out what I already laid out for you as well. But how let's say Jay Jones wins this race and he becomes Attorney General. How in the hell is he supposed to carry out his duties to the people of Virginia if he's under a criminal investigation?
Mm-hmm. What sort of credibility does he have? And thinking back to Abigail Spanberger, who has to continue to answer these questions as more news is made on this issue. We're not just rehashing the same thing from 3 weeks ago. More news continues to unfold here. But she could have denounced him. She could have asked him to drop out of the race and spared herself this agony, spared herself a debilitating 60-second ad that Winsome Sears put out of her just staring ahead, looking psychotic in that debate, not acknowledging this. But she wouldn't do it because she cares too much about her selfish political interests than what's best for the Commonwealth of Virginia. And now Jason Miyares, who's run a very good campaign anyway, but is positioned himself well to win this race. It's going to affect the entire ballot, I think. And Abigail Spanberger deserves to have to deal with the consequences of not having a backbone.
Well, I will tell you this. This could be a gift to Abigail Spanberger if she has any political skills or dexterity. See, if yesterday she had called on Jay Jones to drop out of the race, it would be seen as the cynical political move. It's like, why now? What's different? Why didn't you tell him to drop out 3 weeks ago when this story broke? The only reason you're doing it now is because it's hurting you politically. But see, this news that a special prosecutor's been appointed, she can use this as an excuse. She can say, well, now that there's a special prosecutor, that's new. That changes everything. Jay Jones should drop out of the race. If she's smart, if she has political skills, she should do that. But I don't think she's gonna. She's not ready for prime time, this Abigail Spanberger. We'll see.
Yeah. If she was listening to your show this morning, Larry, maybe she'd find her off-ramp for this. But
I just checked Jay Jones's X feed to see what his reaction has been. He has not said anything about the special prosecutor, but his last 3 tweets are all about Donald Trump.